Hey guys, this is a video about emotions, feelings and what comprises our entire feeling experience. Kind of what's the difference between emotions and feelings and what comprises our feeling experience. So to begin with, we are suggesting that looking at some current ideas, and of course this may change, but current ideas which fits a little bit with our model, is the idea that emotion and feeling are slightly different things. So emotion is a non-conscious process that triggers feeling, and feeling are what we experience in the body. So when we're talking to clients, we're saying, what is it you notice happening in your body now? And they may say, oh, you know, I've got a tightness in my shoulder, a tightness in my chest, or something in the back of my head. So that's the difference between emotion and feeling. When it comes to looking at it from the perspective of illness, and we are offering a neural pathways or a rewiring of neural pathways explanation for symptoms, we are suggesting that it is possible to block emotional feelings or the feelings associated with emotions, but it's not possible to block the emotions themselves. And the idea being, emotions continue to be produced even if we don't feel them. And then what happens is there's a rewiring of neural pathways, predominantly in the midbrain, but you know, could be other areas, and this is ultimately then what results in symptoms. So what happens is that there's this rewiring of neural pathways which leads to overactivity or irregularity in certain areas of the brain, and that impacts the systems, the endocrine system, the nervous system and the immune system. And it's when there's disruption or irregularity in those systems that we then experience symptoms. So there's the chain reaction that we talked about in one of the sessions. Back to the idea of feeling experience. So what we have is we have our emotional feelings, and then they are usually short-lived. And the idea is, well, our emotional feelings are giving us some feedback about our interaction with our environment. Because emotional feelings may also be telling us something about our thinking as well. In energy flow coaching, we don't want to pay too much attention to thinking because we don't want to be trying to battle thinking. We do want to be aware of thinking and its impact, but just from a perspective of knowledge. So emotion is short-lived. It's telling us about our interaction with our environment, or something about our thinking in that moment. So that's emotion. Then we've got moods. Now moods are a little bit more general. Moods can be, you know, good mood, bad mood, and somewhere in between. So they're longer lasting. Moods are something that they're not really inviting us to look at what we're doing in the same way that emotions are. So emotions are an attempt to bring us back to our true self. The idea being that when we experience pleasant or high vibrational emotions, we are in alignment with our true self. When we are experiencing low vibrational or uncomfortable emotions, it means that it's an opportunity for us to come back to our true self. We may be deviating or are about to deviate from true self. And the idea with thinking is the thoughts are not in alignment with true self. Now moods are just something that I think moods can be influenced by lots of things, and this is why I'm not convinced at this stage we want to be tampering with mood. We're better off just leaving a mood, and it can change in an instant or it may take half a day, but I think we're better off leaving moods alone. But moods kind of come and go. Intuition is, I would say, encompasses inner knowing, realizations, insights, aha moments, those sorts of things. They are all communication from the true self. So emotion is pulling us back to the true self. Intuition, inner knowing is all communication from the true self. And that may manifest itself as little nudges, little feelings, realizations, which can be a spark of, oh yes, I fully understand now. And it often comes when you're in the shower or you're out riding your bike, certainly when you're not focused thinking, it just bounces into your mind. Or, you know, so it's either that, in something that bounces into your mind, or something that manifests through feeling. So it's usually a gentle nudge. That's one of the things people often cut themselves off from their intuitive feelings, because the thinking brain wants to rationalize everything. It wants to know all the steps, and it's quite loud, whereas the intuitive feelings and sensations or realizations that we have from our true self tend to be more subtle, and they may not be kind of logical, and the steps may not all be there. It may just be this sense of what needs to be done. Now, this is possibly an important point, is I think intuition and instinct are slightly different. Instinct can be connected to survival, whereas intuition is coming from the true self. So here's an example. Our instinct is to block away uncomfortable feelings. However, we have to move past that instinct to allow ourselves to feel our uncomfortable feelings. And there's a whole other video on the process then of emotion and the connection with thinking and all the rest of it. So whereas instinct at certain times can be useful, instinct and intuition I'm viewing as different. The final piece is our biological feelings, which are not particularly different from emotion. And our biological feelings are things like hunger, thirst, pain if you've got a stone in your shoe, or tiredness. And in terms of what's going on, the intelligent activity that's taking place throughout brain and body, not very different from emotion, because it's still something that is as a result, arguably, of our interaction with the environment, and can be inviting us to take some action. They can be a call to action. So hunger is a call to action. Thirst is a call to action. A stone pops in your shoe and you have pain, it's a call to action. So very much there are overlaps there with what our emotional feelings are. So that's the picture as we're looking at it at the moment. Our emotional feelings, moods, our intuitive feelings, which encompasses intuition and inner knowing, realizations, insights. Those are different from instinct. Instinct is useful in many instances because it's to do with survival of the body, but in other instances it's not always, because it's different from our intuitive feelings. And then our biological feelings are hunger, pain, tiredness, those sorts of things. So that's the diagram. Those are the differences. I hope that's useful.